First off, I just want to introduce myself. I think people are aware I'm Michael Trainer with Nevel Investors, and I've got a team assembled here, principally consisting of some members of the development side of the project, not the lobbying side of the project, and we have some PR people here as well. But the purpose of the presentation tonight is to give an update report to the town board on where we are. The update comes at the time that we have submitted paperwork that requests that the town of wawarsing act as the lead agency under the state seeker process, which is the regulatory scheme under which the redevelopment of the nevel would fall. Members of the town council should have received materials that we've prepared. And I just want to spend a little bit of time talking about what went into the preparation of those documents, and then we'll get to the fun stuff, which is the pictures. We started working on this last June, so it's been 13 months we've been working on it. We acquired the property in April, as people know. Really, since January, in earnest, we've been working on the redevelopment plan, and the first part of what you have in front of you is assembling a team. And so I just want to talk about the members of the team that have been assembled here. In addition to my partners and myself, we've got law firm Whiteman, Osterman & Hanna, which is based in Albany and is extremely experienced in this type of work. We have Chazen Group, which is a New York-based engineering firm, again, is associated with major development and redevelopment projects in the state of New York. And the materials you have in front of you are a product principally of our legal team and our engineering team. But in addition to that, we have traffic management firm called Creighton Manning, which is kind of regarded as the as the gold standard in the state. They've been doing traffic work. Will continue to do traffic work. Do some studies. Of concern is the 12 miles from Route 17 up 209 to the Nevel property. We have Tishman Construction. For those of you who don't know, Tishman is the largest developer of gaming properties in the eastern United States. They built most of the Atlantic City properties and are extremely well known in New York. It's a major firm. We're lucky to have them on the team. They very much wanted to be on the team. We've got the Fazio golf people working on our golf course. They've had some historic familiarity with the property. I gather that the prior ownership, a couple of owners ago, under the Slutskys, had brought in Fazio to do some work on the course, and the work was kind of scoped out but never really done, and there's a lot of loose talk that maybe Fazio designed some holes, but then Fazio says they didn't really get paid or didn't do anything, and so we decided we'd kind of do it right. And I'm going to show you a plan shortly that shows the initial layout of the golf course as well. But so we've got a very professional team on the golf side here. And then construction management is led by Shapiro and Associates, which is again a very well-known firm in the Northeast in this type of stuff. And so we've got a team assembled on the construction side that we think is really second to none. And everybody's taking the lead from our lead architect is a chap named Pete Wilday, and you'll see a bunch of his art here. And he's out of Nevada and has done a bunch of major gaming properties. And so when it comes to having a team that knows what they're doing, that's for the most part New York centric, that represents the community as best we can for this project. We think we have it. So that team got to work, and the first thing we did was we had a sit down, and they said, well, what does the ownership of the Nevel want to do? What are the themes? So we had to come up with some key themes for the development, and we kind of gelled it down to 7 bullet points, and the bullet points are: number 1, be family friendly, which we think really differentiates ourselves from other projects and other that have been done in the gaming space, and we really want to go back to the roots. And the second is to be first class. I mean, we don't want anything about the redevelopment of the Nevel to be anything other than first class. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to serve our target market, and that's the New York metropolitan area. So the third is preserve the heritage of the property. I've said this before the town council and town board, and I'll say it again. I mean, I can't get through a single day without meeting with somebody who wants to spend an hour telling me about their experiences with the Nevel, and which I found frustrating at first, and now am honored to be in the position you know, kind of holding out the heritage of it, it's pretty amazing. I mean, and it stretches across the entire United States. I mean, you know, I could be someplace out in Nevada, and I mean, our own architect, Pete Wilday, who lives in Reno, Nevada, visited the Nevel as a child. I mean, you know, it's truly incredible how many people were married there, how many, you know, children's bar mitzvahs were held there, how many truly, you know, important events in people's lives were held, and so we have to preserve the heritage of the property, and I hope you'll see that in our plans. We need to incorporate modernized competitive facilities. You know, that kind of goes with being first class. I mean, we really need to make sure that what we deliver is something that people are really going to want to come and visit and see. I think, and I hope you'll see that as well. You know, respect and include the community. You know, from day one, my meetings with town officials and village officials, for that matter, you know, we've talked about the need to not view the Nevel as an island in the middle of, you know, wawarsing next to Ellenville, but really to view the redevelopment of the property as being something that needs to be done mindful of the whole community. And you know, we'll talk a little bit about that. You know, create jobs and stimulate the local business activity. I mean, you know, let's just be honest, right? That if I don't do that, if the ownership doesn't do that, we're not getting a gaming license. And that's what it's all about: is jobs and creating economic activity in the region that's positive, you know, for Ellenville, for wawarsing. And so, you know, we believe the scale and scope of what we're proposing, you know, more than accomplishes that. And finally, wherever possible, train, hire, and buy locally. You know, I've again said it pretty much from day one. You know, this project needs to be part of the community, and we need to make sure that we're putting training programs in place, which we're already starting to talk about internally, how we manage that and how we get up to speed to do that. We'll need to, you know, we will need to do a lot of local training, but there's going to be a lot of jobs and a lot of good jobs that are going to be at this property, and there's no reason why they can't stay in the community. And obviously, buying locally is of enormous importance to people in the community. So we sat down and we talked about those as the initial philosophical points that we needed to make, and then we just talked about, so what are we going to do here? And we said, well, you know, we're sitting here in at the base of the Shawangunks, and what we need to do is we need to try to put together a plan that's respectful of where it is and its position in the community. And so, you know, whereas it might have been easy to throw up a 30-story tower kind of along the lines of what might have been done in Connecticut by some of the Indian tribes, you know, we've opted for something that we think integrates very nicely onto the footprint of the existing property. You know, the heights don't invade the highest point right now, which is the top of the tower. In fact, don't even come close to that. You know, we've figured out a way to tuck cars away, which is going to be, you know, efficient. We've, you know, been mindful of the view down from Route 52 and other points up on the ridge. And so the idea was to bring a new and modern Nevel together that kind of fits neatly on where the old Nevel stands right now. And so I guess with that, I'll start showing a couple of the pictures, maybe talk through kind of how we came to what we came to. You know, please feel free to interject.